All right, I'm going to make another go at this. This is just kind of like assuming someone had no prior experience with Pear Deck, how this kind of runs. So I'm recording on two devices simultaneously. So sorry, this will be boring on the one for a moment, but I'm going to go ahead and open up on my drive the career in physics slideshow. I actually have two slideshows for this. Looks like I split it up. This is kind of the introductory discussion prior to completing the career physics matrix and investigating a career physicist. So this is just more or less something I crafted, I believe, based on the questions that were in the PDFs from Step Up. So right now, this is just a Google slideshow. And to get at the fancy stuff, I've got to go into add-ons, and I would go to get add-ons and get the Pear Deck add-on. Now that I have that, I'm going to go over here and open it up. And now a magical world has opened up over here where I can go to a slide and then assign some type of question format to it. There are varying levels of Pear Deck. We have the whatever premium version here in my district. So I think everybody should have access to the text and multiple choice. And I had some drawing slides in here, but I changed those over to text. So anyways, let's get rid of this thing. So now everything in here should be a text slide. So we can see that down here. Text slide, text slide. Yeah. What do we have going on there? Oh, okay. Yeah, so these are just the questions to help them out in the matrix, and I've changed them to text. So if I wanted to present this to the students with the Pear Deck add-on open, I would go here to start lesson, not the Google Slide present. And then there are two options. There's a student pace mode, so if you had to do this asynchronously, you'd fire that up, and then it gives you a link that you can share to the students, and then they can go in and complete the slideshow on their own, answer the questions on their own, and then you as the teacher could go in later and view their responses all in one place. But when I was running this with my students, we were meeting in a Zoom class, and so I was running an instructor paced, and that just means that I'm in charge of what slide we're on at what particular time. Sometimes I use student paced live in class, but not for this particular thing. So now I'm presenting with Pear Deck. The students need to go to joinpd.com. And now I'm going to finally do some stuff over here on the other computer. And so victorious pears, give keen olives. And now I'm in on the student side. How am I feeling? I'm feeling pretty good here. It's my second attempt at making this video. You should go a little better this time. So I'm on the first slide, and I can see I've got one student joined. I think when I was doing it in class, I was actually snapping up this link and then pasting that into Canvas. It just saves one less step. They just click on the link and go direct to the Pear Deck. And then something else I want to look at here in a second is the two sort of teacher modes of this. Right now what we have here, this is called the projector. I believe that's what it's called. Let's see. Yeah. The projector mode, and that's what I would have, in a classroom. That's what I'm projecting on my front screen, or in the Zoom classroom, this is what the students were seeing. And the other mode is called dashboard, and normally I'm running the dashboard in another device. It was really cumbersome, whether I'm presenting in a normal class setting or in this crazy virtual Zoom class setting. It's not fun to try to run the dashboard from the same device, but I'm going to go ahead and do this just for the video. So open the dashboard in a new window. So normally this is dashboards on a Chromebook off on the side that's not hooked up to the projector. And I'll show you why here in a second. Okay, so career in physics. So either projector mode or dashboard mode, I can skip ahead to the next slide. And so now on the student device, we see list 3 careers you can have with a physics bachelor's degree. Jeepers. You can be a physics teacher. You could be a physics Oh gosh, I don't even know what else can be. That's about it, right? Physics teacher. Okay. So that shows up now. In the dashboard mode, I can see that Matthew Harding is saying physics teacher. He's not really aware of much else. The beauty of Pear Deck, I wouldn't be sharing that with the class. The class would, if I chose to show student responses to this, would just see that somebody says physics teacher and they're not sure about anything else. Okay. And so you got a couple different, grid layout is usually what I would use. If there are multiples, you can't. There's one kid here. You can't really tell the difference, but you've got a couple different modes that you can toggle through here, and they're kind of nice. All right. But again, over on the dashboard, I know Matt Harding said that. And I usually let the kids know, like, it'll be anonymous when we share it to the class, but I'll know who says what. I didn't say that like the first time that I used Pear Deck, and some kids said some untoward things. So, hey, it was pretty easy to figure out who said what. If you had like 30 kids and you wanted to just highlight a few responses, you could go in on the dashboard and click a star. And then on the projector side, when I go to show answers or show responses, it only shows the starred responses. All right. So that's pretty much how this one works. It's easier if I'm on the projector to see what slide we're looking at. So these are all text response things for the kiddos. And then now when they get down to the questions about the matrix, I'm guessing we would just have them input, A, C, and D. And then maybe A and E. And then they're going into the matrix. And I saw something about how somebody's student had crafted a online version of the matrix. So that would be pretty slick. Maybe that can all be mated up with this. But that's this slideshow. And then when we're done with it, I just hit end. And I guess I have to name it. Example. There we go. CIP PD. Publish student takeaways will then, because they're signed in with their Google account, will send them a Google Doc of the slideshow with their responses. It doesn't have like a summary of everybody's responses. I wish it did that, but it'll give them at least what they said, and they'll have the slideshow to refer back to. I can always go back in and access the slideshow and look at student responses. And oftentimes what I will do is on the projector side of things, let's see. I will go in here and capture their responses and put that into some kind of a document that I can then post on Canvas or somewhere. So if part of the class was meeting synchronously and part of the class was meeting asynchronously, that asynchronous part would still have the opportunity to see what some of the other students responded to the various prompts. So I think that's about it on this side of things. So let's end this. And yeah. Boop. Boop. All right. Yeah, now I would just exit out of here. And now I'm going to go into lengthy screencast here, but I guess I can stop it on this. Well, no, I'll leave it going on this device. Let's see. That went well. Okay. And let's go back to joinpd.com. I went into, I guess I'm calling this part 2 now, but this is basically the slideshow from Step Up. And again, if I just went to present, this is just going to present as a Google slideshow. That's not good. I go into add-ons. I go to Pear Deck, open the Pear Deck add-on. And I've already gone through, and there's not a lot of Pear Deck in this thing, but there's a little bit. So everything's already set up. I'm just going to go ahead and start the lesson. And instructor paste. And over here. Nevkar. Sometimes it's almost a word. All right. So this would be day 2. For me, I had them in between classes go and do their research on their career physicist, and then we're coming back in. How am I feeling today? Feeling good. All right. So I this way back a month ago when we did this thing, I think I started off having them present their research to each other. What did they find out about their career physicist? So I put them in breakout rooms and had them do that for a little bit, and then we came back. At some point, I had them respond to this prompt: "What new careers emerged from your research and discussion with your peers?" Let me get the dashboard open again here. So this is a text response. Um, what new careers emerged? Ooh, finance. All right. So we can see what Matt Harding said over here. And then scrolling along, when I made the video earlier, I realized that I needed to split these multiple choice out differently. So this was one slide in the step up presentation, but I've turned it into 4 here. So on the MCAT, which major has the highest scores? Well, I've done this presentation a few times. So, all right, so D for that one, and among the lowest scores, biologists. Shocking. All right. And then maybe the ordering, somebody would prefer to have this different. So then I put in the slide about the MCAT performance right there. And then it goes into the LSAT. And, oh man, it's got to be physics, right? This is a physics presentation. And then lowest scores, biologists. I think a lot of my kids on the day said psychologists or something like that. Yeah, and so that's pretty much it for the interactive. Oh, till we get to the last bit, and then there were 3 questions on one slide, and I split those out into 3 separate slides of text responses. But yeah, it looks like everything's running okay on here now. I hope this was helpful, and if you have any questions on Pear Deck, give me a shout. I have questions on how to stop a screencast. There we go.